These are the topics which I am going to cover in this lecture. You can refer the book written by William Stallings. The title of the book is Operating Systems Internals and Design Principles, 7th edition, and the publisher is Printers Hall. In the last lecture, we have seen what is suspended process. We can generalize the concept of suspended process. Let us define a suspended process as having the following characteristics. First characteristic, the suspended process is not immediately available for execution. Second, the process may or may not be waiting on an event, means the suspended process may or may not be blocked process. Block process is independent of the suspended condition, and occurrence of the blocking event does not enable the process to be executed immediately. Third characteristic is the process was placed in a suspended state by an agent, either by a process itself or a parent process or the operating system for the purpose of preventing its execution. The last one, the process may not be removed from this state until the agent explicitly orders the removal. Generally, there are 5 reasons for process suspension. First is swapping. Now you are aware of what is swapping. We have learned during memory management to bring in the process from secondary memory to main memory and again from main memory to secondary memory. Okay, we do swapping. So to provide memory space, either to bring in a ready suspended process or to increase the memory allocated to other ready processes. Second reason, if the OS detects or suspects a problem, it may suspend a process. Another set of reasons concerns the actions of an interactive user. For example, if a user suspects a bug in the program, he or she may debug the program by suspending its execution, examining and modifying the program or data, and resuming execution. Next is time considerations. It may also lead to a swapping decision. For example, if a process is to be activated periodically but it is idle most of the time, then it should be swapped out between users. Then a parent process may wish to suspend a descendant process. For example, a process A may spawn process B to perform a file read. Subsequently, process B encounters an error in file read procedure and reports this to process A. Process A suspends process B to investigate the cause. Next subtopic is process description. The operating system controls events within the computer system. It schedules and dispatches processes for execution by the processor, allocates resources to processes, and responds to requests by user processes for basic services. So basically, operating system works as a resource manager for the processes. This concept is illustrated in this figure. This figure is taken from the book William Stallings. In a multiprogramming environment, there are a number of processes from P1 to Pn, like P1, P2, P3 till Pn, that have been created and exist in virtual memory. Each process, during the course of its execution, needs access to certain system resources, including the processors, I/O devices, and main memory. In the figure, process P1 is running. At least part of the process is in main memory and it has control of 2 I/O devices. Process P2 is also in main memory but is blocked waiting for an I/O device allocated to P1. Process Pn has been swapped out and is therefore suspended. If the operating system is to manage processes and resources, it must have information about the current status of each process and resource. The OS constructs and maintains tables of information about each entity that it is managing. 4 different types of tables maintained by the operating system. The tables are memory, I/O, file and process. Although the details will differ from one operating system to another, fundamentally all operating systems maintain information in these four categories. Figure shows the general structure of operating system control tables. We know that the part of main memory is reserved for use of operating system and the remainder is available for use by processes. Memory tables keep track of both main and secondary memory. Memory tables includes information about allocation of main memory to processes, allocation of secondary memory to processes, protection attributes of blocks of main memory or virtual memory, which processes may access certain share memory regions, and needed to manage virtual memory. OS maintains process tables to manage processes. It has one entry for each process and pointer to a process image. Process image contains the collection of the program, data, stack, and attributes. OS also maintains I/O and file tables. I/O tables are used by operating systems to manage I/O devices, status of devices, and location. File tables stores the information about the existence of the files and location in secondary memory, current status, and other attributes. Next, we will see process control structures. To manage and handle the processes efficiently, OS must know location of the process and attributes of the process that are necessary to its management. So, attributes are process ID and process state. We have already learned that for context switching, this information is required and which is stored in process control block. As mentioned earlier, the process image is the collection of the program, data, stack and attributes. The location of process image depends on the memory management scheme. The process image contains four things. First, user data, which can have program data and user stack area. Second, user program means the program to be executed. Third, stack. Each program has one or more last in, first out stacks associated with it. Fourth, process control block, which has data needed by the operating system and control the process. The process image is maintained as a contiguous or continuous block of memory in secondary memory. The small portion of it should be present in main memory. To execute the process, the entire process image should be loaded into the main memory or virtual memory. Hence, the OS should know the location of each process on disk or main memory. The OS should keep track of which portion of the image of each process are still in main memory. In modern operating system, paging concept is used. Process table maintained by operating system must show the location of each page of each process image. Process attributes, that is process control block information, can be grouped into three categories. First, process identification, which is required to identify a particular process, so each process has unique numeric identifier. Second, processor state information. It consists of the contents of processor registers known as program status word PSW. Do you remember we have discussed two processor modes, kernel and user mode. That time I told you there is a flag which will be set to 1 in user mode and set to 0 for kernel mode. So PSW sets that flag. Third, process control information. It has additional information needed by operating system to control and coordinate the various active processes. The kernel mode is also known as system or control mode. Functions of operating system kernels are process management, memory management, I/O management, and support functions. So under process management, OS creates and terminates processes. It supports process scheduling and dispatching and process switching. OS also supports process synchronization and inter-process communication. It also manages process control block. Under memory management, it allocates address space to processes. It allows swapping and supports page and segment management. In I/O management, OS supports buffer management and allocates I/O channel and devices to processes. Under support functions, it handles interrupts. And under accounting, the operating system tracks an account of all the functionalities taking place in the computer system at a time. All the details such as the types of errors occurred are recorded by the operating system. And OS also monitors the entire system. Operating system follows steps to create a process. It assigns a unique process identifier to the new process and allocates space for the process. Then initialize the process control block and set the appropriate linkages, that is scheduling queue. After that, it creates and expands other data structures. We have learned about context switching. That time I told you whenever there is an occurrence of interrupt or trap, switching occurs. Interrupt occurs due to some external event like completion of I/O operation, and trap occurs due to error or exception generated within the currently running process, such as illegal file access attempt. So there are three examples of interrupt: clock interrupt, I/O interrupt, and memory fault. So we'll see these three examples of interrupt in brief. Under clock interrupt, OS decides whether the currently running process has been executed for the time slot allotted to it. Then the process is switched to a ready state and another process is dispatched. I/O interrupt, after the completion of an I/O operation, OS moves all of the corresponding block processes to ready state. Third is memory fault. This is the same as page fault which we have discussed in previous unit. Whenever there is a page miss, the operating system must bring that page from secondary memory to main memory. Till it brings that page from secondary memory to main memory, process is placed in block state and a new process is placed in execution state. As soon as the page is brought to main memory, the previous block process is placed in the ready state. With a trap, the operating system determines if the error or exception condition is fatal. If so, then the currently running process is moved to the exit state and a process switch occurs. If not, then the action of the OS will depend on the nature of the error and the design of the OS. It may attempt some recovery procedure or simply notify the user. It may do a process switch or resume the currently running process. Finally, the OS may be activated by a supervisor call from the program being executed. For example, a user process is running and an instruction is executed that requests an I/O operation, such as a file open. This call results in a transfer to a routine that is part of the operating system code. The use of a system call may place the user process in the block state. During instruction cycle, the processor keeps checking for interrupt signal, which indicates that an interrupt is pending. If an interrupt is pending, then the processor sets the program counter to starting address of the interrupt handler and change the mode from user to kernel. We know that the program counter stores the address of the next instruction to be executed. A mode switch will not affect the process which is currently in the running state.